Hi, and welcome to Knots by Lainey. Today we're gonna show you how to single crochet a little square. So first I'm gonna wind up all of my yarn. Here's my little yarn ball. It's so tiny. Here's the square we're going to be crocheting today. It's just simple single crochet back and forth. Here's my ball of yarn, my 5mm crochet hook, a little needle to sew in our ends, and some scissors to cut our yarn off the ball. Now we're going to make a slip knot. So you can see I'm wrapping the yarn around my finger and pulling it through that little loop. Then we're going to just tighten that slip knot just a little bit and insert that onto our crochet hook. Now we're going to yarn over our hook and pull it through the little loop on our hook. And we're going to do this 14 times to make a chain of 14. So again, that's over and through 14 times. What we're going to do now is count 2 chains from the hook. We're going to insert our hook, pull over the yarn, and pull it through that loop. Now we're going to pull the yarn over our hook again and pull through both of the loops on our hook. This is your first single crochet. Now you're going to insert your yarn into that chain space again, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. And we're going to keep doing this until we get to the end of the row. So that's insert the hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and then pull through 2 loops. Insert your hook, yarn over, and pull through, yarn over, and pull through both loops on your hook. As we are finishing this last single crochet, we are now going to just chain 1, which is what we were doing earlier for our chain 14. We're going to put the yarn over our hook and pull it through that little loop. Now we're going to flip our work over. And then we're going to go through that tiny V we made. So we're going to go through both of those little loops, pull our yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. We're just making sure we catch the whole stitch this time, so you're going to go underneath that little V shape instead of just through one of the loops. Otherwise, it's the same stitch. Under, pull over, pull through, over, pull through 2. On repeat. Additionally, while working, you're going to want to pull your yarn from your ball so you have a little bit to work with. This will help keeping your gauge the same all the way through. Otherwise, you might get some tighter stitches, some looser stitches. Just try and make sure you're holding your yarn at the same tension each stitch you're making. So how tight you're pulling your yarn with your offhand, it will determine how tight the stitch you're currently working on will be. So just try and keep that as even as possible as you work through. As you can see here, I'm struggling a little bit to get my hook through both of the loops of the last stitch. This might mean that I made my chain just a little too tight before starting the last row. But if you're patient and you work with the yarn, you should be able to get your hook through no problem. And this is what the end of 2 rows looks like, so we're going to chain 1, flip our work, and just continue. Okay, so here I've slowed the process down a little bit so you can see a little more clearly what I'm doing. So here are the V stitches. And as you can see, I'm going under that full V, pulling the yarn through, pulling it over, and going through both of those loops. So now I'm counting that I have 14 rows, and after that my square is complete. So I'm going to chain 1, and instead of turning my work, we're simply going to cut the tail. I like to cut the tail about 3 to 4 inches to make sure I have enough room to sew in my ends properly. All we're going to do is pull that yarn on our hook all the way through that loop, and that ties off our work. Now we have a perfect square. So with our needle, we're going to insert one of our tails into the needle. And the goal here is to sew it back and forth so that way it just won't fall out. So I like to go in about 4 V's, 5 if you're a little anxious about it, and just pull your yarn underneath those stitches. Pull it all the way through, and then when you go back, make sure to go over the last loop of that last V that you came out of, so that way it catches your yarn and doesn't just reverse what you just did. Some people like going back and forth 2 to 3 times. I do it twice if I'm going to sew all these squares together as a project. 3 if I'm leaving the square as is to make sure it's extra secure when you wash it. Then we're just going to clip off that end right there and do the exact same thing on the other side. Now all that's left is to cut off the tail, and voila! We have a single crochet square. I hope this tutorial was easy to follow along. Like the video if it was helpful, and comment with any questions. I'll do my best to answer. Have a great day. Bye!